In a shocking turn of events for the retail industry, we're witnessing an unprecedented wave of closures among some of America's most iconic clothing brands. Today, we're going to dive deep into 15 major clothing retailers that are permanently shutting their doors, marking the end of an era in fashion retail. Let's start with Gap Inc. Says Banana Republic. After decades of being a staple in American malls, Banana Republic announced the closure of 50% of its North American stores by 2025. The brand, which once represented the pinnacle of accessible luxury, has struggled to maintain relevance in an increasingly digital marketplace. Their attempt to pivot towards more premium offerings failed to resonate with their core customer base, and the pandemic dealt a devastating blow to their already declining foot traffic. Next up is Express, a brand that defined young professional fashion throughout the 1990s and 2000s. They recently filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection and announced the closure of 95% of their retail locations. The company's inability to adapt to changing consumer preferences, coupled with mounting debt and increased competition from fast fashion retailers, led to this dramatic downfall. Express will maintain an online presence, but the era of their ubiquitous mall presence is coming to an end. Victoria's Secret, once the undisputed queen of lingerie retail, is closing hundreds of stores nationwide. The brand's dated image and failure to embrace body positivity early enough has cost them dearly. Their parent company, L Brands, has announced plans to close over 250 locations in 2025 alone. This represents not just a business failure, but a cultural shift in how society views beauty and femininity. Fourth on our list is J.Crew, which filed for bankruptcy in 2020 and continues to struggle despite restructuring efforts. The brand that once dressed Michelle Obama and was synonymous with preppy American style has announced plans to close all remaining physical stores by 2026. Their attempt to maintain premium pricing while competing with fast fashion proved unsustainable, and their core customer base has largely moved on to more contemporary brands. Dress Barn, after over 50 years in business, is completely shuttering its physical presence. The retailer, which catered to working women with affordable professional wear, couldn't compete with online retailers and changing work dress codes. Their closure affects thousands of employees across the country and marks the end of an era for women's workplace fashion. Forever 21, despite emerging from bankruptcy in 2020, is facing another round of massive closures. The fast fashion giant that once operated in over 800 locations is now down to just a fraction of that number. Their rapid expansion and inability to keep up with even faster fashion competitors like Shein has led to this dramatic downsizing. Seventh on our list is Men's Wearhouse, which is closing hundreds of locations following their parent company's bankruptcy. The formal wear retailer has been hit particularly hard by the shift to casual office attire and the rise of work-from-home culture. Their famous guarantee, "You're going to like the way you look," may soon be a relic of retail history. H&M, while not completely shutting down, is closing hundreds of stores globally, including many flagship locations in the United States. The Swedish fast fashion giant is struggling with inventory management issues and increasing competition from online-only retailers. Their sustainability initiatives, while admirable, came too late to prevent this major downsizing. Ninth is American Eagle Outfitters' Aerie brand, which is consolidating its physical presence despite strong online sales. The decision to close stores reflects the broader industry trend toward digital-first operations, even for successful brands. This strategic shift will see the closure of numerous mall locations by the end of 2025. Brooks Brothers, America's oldest clothing retailer, filed for bankruptcy and is closing most of its stores. The 200-year-old brand, which has dressed 40 U.S. presidents, couldn't survive the combination of casual workplace attire and pandemic-related store closures. Their remaining presence will be primarily through department store partnerships and online sales. Lucky Brand Jeans is next on our list, having filed for bankruptcy and announcing the closure of all standalone stores. The premium denim retailer, known for its vintage-inspired designs, couldn't compete with more affordable options and changing fashion preferences. Their intellectual property has been acquired by another company, but the brand as we know it will cease to exist. 12th is Francescas, the boutique-style retailer that's closing all physical locations after filing for bankruptcy. Their unique business model of small, frequently updated inventory couldn't survive the shift to online shopping and the impact of the pandemic. The brand will continue online, but their distinctive shopping experience will be lost. Chico's, including Wearhouse Black Market, is dramatically reducing its retail footprint. The retailer, which caters to mature women, has struggled to attract younger customers and adapt to changing fashion preferences. Their planned closure of hundreds of stores represents a significant shift in the market for women's specialty retail. Lord & Taylor, America's oldest department store, is completely shutting down after nearly 200 years in business. The iconic retailer's closure represents the end of an era in American retail history and highlights the challenges facing traditional department stores in the digital age. Finally, we have Topshop, the British fast fashion retailer that's closing all U.S. locations. Their attempt to capture the American market ultimately failed, despite initial success and high-profile locations in major cities. The brand's intellectual property has been acquired by ASOS, but the physical stores will disappear completely. These closures represent more than just business failures. They mark a fundamental shift in how we shop for clothes. The rise of e-commerce, changing consumer preferences, and the impact of global events like the pandemic have accelerated the decline of traditional retail. While some of these brands will continue online, the landscape of American retail will be forever changed by their physical absence. The impact extends beyond just the loss of familiar stores. Thousands of retail workers will be displaced. Mall operators will face increasing vacancy rates, and consumers will have fewer options for in-person shopping experiences. This transformation of retail reflects broader changes in our society, from how we work and dress to how we make purchasing decisions. As we look to the future, it's clear that the retail apocalypse isn't just about the failure of individual brands, but represents a fundamental restructuring of the retail landscape. The survivors will likely be those who can successfully blend digital and physical experiences while maintaining strong connections with their target customers.